Hello everyone. Thank you all for watching the video and leaving meaningful comments. Wishing everyone good health and happiness. The dawn has just broken, the first rays of sunlight gently piercing through the mist, signaling the start of a new day. The morning air is fresh and cool, carrying the scent of soil and grass. James appears at the corn purchasing warehouse with a busy yet determined demeanor. His footsteps echo on the hard ground, blending with the bustling sounds of workers at their tasks. Piles of corn bags stacked high give off the distinctive aroma of harvest season. James carefully inspects each bag of corn, his bright eyes focused intently on the quality of the products. His hands move swiftly as he writes in a small notebook, meticulously calculating every detail without missing a single point. The workers in the warehouse are busy working while chatting cheerfully, creating a lively atmosphere. The sound of machinery operating steadily resembles the rhythm of an industrial symphony. Trucks line up one after another to transport corn, painting a vibrant and energetic scene. James walks through each area of the warehouse for thorough inspections, occasionally exchanging quick words with employees about work progress. His serious demeanor earns respect from everyone in the warehouse and motivates them to work harder. Meanwhile, I step into the morning market to buy vegetables and food for the day ahead. The morning market is a hub of diverse sounds and colors, vendors calling out to sell their goods, buyers negotiating prices, vehicles passing by, all mingled with cheerful laughter and chatter. Stalls are filled with lush green vegetables, fresh fruits, and various other food items that make me feel delighted. I stop at a small vegetable stall, selecting bunches of fresh green produce with excitement as I touch their crisp freshness. The aroma of vegetables and spices fills the air, making me feel truly comfortable. I continue visiting other stalls to pick up additional ingredients needed for upcoming meals. The vendors enthusiastically introduce their products, sometimes offering helpful tips on how to prepare delicious dishes. I feel a sense of warmth and friendliness from these people. When I've gathered all the necessary ingredients, I head back home with bags full in hand. My heart is filled with joy and excitement as I think about the dishes I'll prepare today. In my mind briefly flashes an image of James busy at the corn purchasing warehouse. A new day begins with ordinary tasks but brings a sense of peace and meaning amidst this bustling life. After returning from the market, I quickly stepped into the garden to start planting the vegetables I had just bought. The small garden behind the house, with its fertile soil and fresh air, offered a serene and poetic scene as the morning sunlight illuminated the empty rows of soil. Carefully, I tilled the earth, each gentle yet firm stroke preparing the ground for new life. The soft soil under my hands and the scent of damp earth rising to my nose brought a comforting sense of connection to nature. One by one, I planted the vegetable seedlings into the soil, gently packing dirt around their roots to help them stand firm. While working, the image of James came to mind again. I recalled his focused demeanor as he worked at the corn purchasing warehouse earlier that morning. Always busy yet full of responsibility, he inspired a quiet admiration within me. A wave of indescribable emotions washed over me, part admiration, part longing. I wondered what he might be doing at that moment and whether he ever thought about me. At this time, James had finished his work at the corn warehouse and returned to his office to review records. In a bright and tidy office space, he meticulously examined numbers together with his team. Later, he decided to visit the timber factory with his team to inspect the quality of wood and products being manufactured there. The large timber workshop echoed with sounds of saws and hammers ringing throughout. James walked through each area, his sharp eyes observing even the smallest details on the wooden products. He discussed quality and work progress with employees, displaying seriousness and dedication in every word. Unable to stop thinking about James, I decided to visit the timber factory to find him. Walking along the familiar road leading to the workshop, my heart was full of hope that I might get a chance to talk with him. However, upon arrival, I only met his employees, who informed me that James was busy inspecting a large shipment in another area of the factory. Disappointed but trying to maintain a smile, I left a message with one of his staff that I had come by looking for him. After delivering my message, I quietly headed back home. On my way back, I felt a tinge of sadness for not being able to meet James as I had hoped. Yet I understood that his work was demanding and important. By the time James finished his tasks and returned to look for me at the factory, I had already left long ago. Perhaps there are still gaps between us that cannot be bridged immediately, gaps that both of us need time to understand and draw closer together. On the small path leading home, the gentle afternoon sunlight cast a warm golden hue over everything. I walked slowly, my thoughts still lingering on James. The peaceful countryside stretched around me, flanked by rows of lush green trees swaying in the soft breeze, their rustling leaves creating a natural melody. As I strolled and admired the familiar scenery, I felt my heart grow lighter after a long day. Suddenly, from afar appeared Mr. Powell, a rugged man with an intense and troubled look in his eyes. He approached me quickly, his gruff voice breaking the tranquility and filling me with unease. Mr. Powell attempted to pull me toward his house, his hand reaching out as if to grab mine forcefully. I stepped back several paces, a sense of alarm rising within me. The peaceful atmosphere was abruptly replaced by tension and suffocation. At that very moment, the sound of an engine roared from a distance. A car appeared, speeding down the narrow dirt road. James stepped out of the vehicle with a strong and decisive presence. His piercing gaze locked onto Mr. Powell, radiating a protective aura as though he would shield me from any harm. He approached swiftly, standing firmly in front of me, and declared with unwavering conviction, "Ms. Tu Diep is now my girlfriend." His words rang out firmly, leaving Mr. Powell stunned. James didn't stop there. He issued a stern and authoritative warning to Mr. Powell. Faced with James's resolute demeanor, Mr. Powell hesitated before finally lowering his head and walking away silently. Standing behind James, I felt both frightened and deeply reassured by his timely arrival. After driving Mr. Powell away, James turned to me with noticeably softer eyes. He asked if I was okay and extended his hand as if to comfort me. I nodded lightly, feeling the safety he brought with him. He then helped me into his car and drove me home. On the way back, we didn't exchange many words, but his presence alone filled my heart with an unusual sense of peace. When we arrived at my small house, the evening sunlight had already begun to fade. We sat across from each other in my modest yet cozy living room to talk. Misunderstandings between us were resolved through sincere words from both sides. James recounted the events that had kept him busy throughout the day, while I shared my feelings of longing and worry when I couldn't meet him at the timber factory. That moment was truly special, a small space filled with a deep connection between two souls gradually understanding each other better. As I looked into James's earnest eyes, I felt the profound affection he held for me. The misunderstandings dissolved, leaving only warmth spreading through both our hearts. The evening gradually descended, with the fading sunlight casting a warm and peaceful glow over the small garden behind the house. I began preparing dinner in my modest yet tidy kitchen, where everything was simple but well organized. The fresh ingredients I had bought at the market earlier that morning were neatly arranged on the table. The vibrant green vegetables, fragrant meat, and a full array of spices filled me with excitement as I started cooking. The rhythmic sound of chopping and the gentle flow of water from the faucet created a familiar melody of a bustling kitchen. While I cooked, James went out to the garden to water the vegetable beds I had planted in the morning. His tall figure moved steadily among the tender green rows. Holding a watering hose, he carefully ensured that each plant received proper care. The soft sound of water flowing filled the tranquil space, bringing a sense of calm and relaxation. His focused gaze on the vegetable beds seemed to reflect his appreciation for the life sprouting from the nurturing soil. As I cooked, I occasionally glanced out the window at James working in the garden. That sight filled me with an indescribable warmth. I thought about the moments we had shared throughout the day, from our initial misunderstandings to our heartfelt conversation that resolved everything. Those experiences made me cherish his presence in my life even more. When dinner was ready, the aroma of freshly cooked food filled every corner of the small house. I called James inside to join me for dinner. He walked in with hands still slightly damp from watering the plants, and his gentle smile seemed to brighten up the entire space. We sat across from each other at a simple yet cozy dining table. The meal consisted of humble dishes prepared with love, refreshing vegetable soup, fragrant braised meat, and a colorful plate of steamed vegetables. During dinner, James suddenly set down his chopsticks and looked at me with an emotional gaze. He gently took my hand, and the warmth from his touch made my heart race. "Thank you for everything," he said in a sincere and heartfelt tone. His words filled me with an indescribable happiness. Smiling back at him, I felt an even deeper connection between us. The dinner ended with laughter and warmth spreading throughout the small house. It was not just an ordinary meal but a moment for us to understand each other better and deepen our bond. Under the soft glow of warm yellow light in the room, I knew I had found a true companion, someone who would always be there to share life's moments and protect me no matter what circumstances arose.